Well done, thanks for being here. It's the first of two videos. We're going to break it down into two videos so you have time to digest the first one, because it's a very comprehensive course here. We're going to take you right from zero to being able to make trades, basic trades by yourself by the end of this. Having said that, it's really not very long, and I've made it very, very simple for you, I think. So let's get started. I think the first question you should ask, and I think it's an important question in anything in life you're about to engage in, is especially when you start getting involved in investing in stocks, who is this person that you're listening to? How credible is the source of the information I'm listening to? So on that note, let me tell you a bit about myself. I've been a trader for over 20 years now. I'm also the inventor of several profitable and simple trading systems. One of them I patented, actually. Proven for the last 7 years for stock trading systems, and also an investing system that you can find out on a different video I'll give you details on another time. That's been back tested, proven for over 38 years to give incredible results of over 24% a year. So, but that's not what we're going to talk about this time. We're going to go right back to basics and teach you how to really do things for yourself. I'm also a twice best-selling author. You can see my books, they're right there on Amazon. If you have any questions about that, by all means, email me. You can email me anytime about anything. It's james@jamessheridan.com. I'm also a former airline captain. I've been a busy guy trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do with life. But that I think that airline training gave me a lot of things I took into trading, particularly about discipline and checklists and following set procedures, which is something we'll come on to. I'd like to think I'm a new friend and mentor. I don't want to sound sort of superficial there or fake, but I am on the end of an email, and hopefully we do become friends, and I can mentor you through the jungle that is trading and investing. So I'd like to benefit from what I call my expensive education, and anyone who's a good trader who's cut their teeth will not be afraid to mention they've learned the hard way and they've suffered some big losses along the way. And when you have setbacks, I think anything in life, but in trading especially, is it's very easy to just sweep that under the rug and ignore it. But why? Well, that's you're paying for that education. Especially in trading, the market has really, I see that as a loss, has charged you a tuition fee. And if you can look at what did you learn, and when you learn what not to do, you learn what to do. So anyway, this was my journey, and maybe you can relate to it. I start off just having an interest in you hear about people making money in stocks, and so you start listening to those people, and what are they saying, what are they doing, and you find out a lot of the time that actually the people who are talking a lot about it really aren't making the trades, or they're just winning some, losing some, but they're only telling you about the winners. And of course, everyone likes to sound like an expert. So my first stop of listening to people, going by what they would advise me to do, didn't work out. And so I started then. I thought, well, let's maybe read the news and watch the financial channels and see what they're saying. And because they're experts on those shows, right? They must know what they're talking about. And actually, no, it was a lot of contradictory, conflicting, and really not much specific advice. If you've seen a lot of these things and ever tried to act on it, you'll find it really doesn't go anywhere. And that's strange, because these people are supposed to know what they're doing, aren't they? Otherwise, they wouldn't be writing articles and watching being on the TV. So, but try that one for yourself. It certainly didn't go anywhere well specifically for me. So the next stop is, well, okay, if I need specifics, then maybe I should get one of these tipping sheets. There's lots of people out there selling stock picks, and they advertise all the big wins and things like that. So that looks great. Let's try it out for myself. And then when you start doing it, where did these big wins go that were advertised? There's actually a separate video I've made that is for free that you can get another time, which is the 7 tricks these people use. And one of them is just cherry picking. They're just telling you what their winners were, and then they're neglecting the losers. And some of these were just horrifying, and taking huge losses and then saying, oh, but it's a long-term thing. And then 5 years down the line, you're still sitting on this horrific loss. or eventually it comes good, but that's like years later. So again, these people, a lot of them, they don't know what they're doing. They're not making these trades themselves. I do run a tipping service myself, but there's only the trades that I'm making. And I'm very transparent about the track record. There are winners, there are losers, but the important thing is that you come out on top and you make your losers small. But that's another conversation we'll have in the next video. And there's this thing I started to get, maybe the tipsters are wrong, and now I started to maybe think I was a little bit clever. And there's this thing called contrarianism, where if you've got to do the opposite to what the herd is doing. And, it sounds good in principle. And a lot of the time, everyone's in on something, the market or whatever is going too high or too low. And you think, well, I'm going to do the opposite to that because I think I'm clever. And, the trouble with that is you're really trying to time an exact position. And you know what? The herd can be wrong for a very long time, and that can really hurt. So a lot of expensive lessons here that I found, and the end result was, that nothing worked. And here's the reason why I eventually realised I was getting sucked into a game here where only the true insiders actually know 100% what will happen. And all these other experts and so on, they're pounding their fist on the table saying, no, I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. And they sounded so confident, but if you think about it, it's true. Only the people who really are in the boardroom of a listed company or in the halls of power, only they know what's going to happen, don't they? If you think about it, and if they pass on that information, they're insider trading on it can be proven, they'll go to jail. So this is a very kind of locked door with an inner circle. So, and that I always thought, well, that's kind of a dead end there. And then we're all getting sucked into this big casino and nobody actually win anything apart from the true insiders. But that's when I realised something else. These true insiders, the big players in the game who actually know what will happen, they leave a paper trail behind. And that paper trail is what we're going to ride on. We are the insider riders. So where there's money to be made, there is demand for information. Everyone knows you can make huge, consistent profits from the stock market. There's lots of people who know what they're doing and make a very good living, and they aren't insiders because they're doing what I'm going to teach you to do. So where there's money to be made, that means there's a big demand for information. So there's a vast supply, as I just touched on in the previous slide. There's a vast supply of what's often contradicting information. So there is confusion. And I think that's where a lot of people are. They're just firing bullets in random directions. And again, it's just, there's no real coherent, no consistent, disciplined system to what they're doing. And that is the trick. Following a disciplined system like a robot and just having faith, So all this confusion and but the good news is this. Most of this information that is contradictory and all over the place and confusing you is just speculative, what I call noise. The things I just spoke about, all the chatter on the TV and this one, that one, all this opinion, all these people who are telling you this stock's worth that one, it's actually worth this and so on, it's just noise. I'm going to teach you to see through all that noise and see really just the truth. Let's begin with a little bit of jargon busting and start to cut through some of this confusion just at a basic level now, okay? If you know some of this already, then great. If not, then, if you do, then just, please treat it as a revision. Remember, I'm catering to people who have absolutely zero knowledge here, assuming you know nothing. So you will have heard the expression of bulls and bears, and there's a bull market, which is a market that's going up, and there's a bear market, which is a market that's going down, and there's people will argue even about how you define a bull market or a bear market. Well, the definition is pretty simple in my book. Is a bull market is one that's trending upwards. I mean, as in like over a 6 month at least period. And a bear market is something that's vice versa. It's trending downward for at least a 6 month period. Again, people will argue about that. And that's an important thing to come on to, as we'll see in the next video. But there's also something that you don't hear about, and that's something I call foxes. It's a fox market is really when it's neither bull or bear. It's kind of neutral and it's just opportunistic, like a fox. Just throw that in there. So, but here's the important thing: there's people who become married to one or the other, and they're just like permanently a bull or they're permanently a bear, thinking that they can't ever change their mind, which is nonsensical if you think about it, because the market is always changing its mind. Bull markets, bear markets are a natural, cycle that we go through. So it's not just, it's the sensible thing to do, to be a bull one minute and a bear the next. And then people might say, "Oh, why have you changed your mind? You're a bear now and you were a bull. Why?" Well, the facts change. If the facts change, you have to change your stance, or you're a fool. So don't get sucked into this, "Well, I'm a bear and I'm a bull." You are what the market tells you are. And that's one important thing. You must become humbled and you must become a servant, a follower of the market. There's trading and there's investing. What's the difference? Again, people are going to argue about that, but I will call trading as something more short term. We're looking in, with days or weeks. Certainly under 6 months. If you needed to draw a line through it, investing is something a bit more long term. Maybe 6 months or over. If you wanted to put a number to it, much more laid back and just see what happens. And there's no reason why you can't do both. It's just going to be different choices for different stages in your life and different requirements, and also the kind of temperament person you are. There's short and long. If you're short something, it means I'm betting it's going to go down. If I'm long something, it means I'm betting it's going to go up. There is this thing called indexes. Well, an index is like a league table of some of the biggest stocks or certain types of stocks. For example, we've got the S&P 500, which is the largest stocks, the blue chips, and then you've got the Dow Jones, which is 100 of the industrial stocks, and then you've got the Nasdaq, which is the list of the more technical company stocks, and so on. There's a lot of focus on, say, the Dow Jones, when it's actually only 100 companies. I don't look at that, but it's not really the biggest measure. Probably the best measure of it all as a benchmark is the S&P 500. Even if you're not based in America, the S&P 500, because America is the economic center of gravity for the world, and the S&P 500 is just really that great gauge index. And of course there are stockbrokers, but there are, these are really just very simple now. It doesn't have to be a man on the end of a phone or whatever. You've got great websites now like Robinhood and people like that make it very easy, and it's just an execution thing. We also, here's a myth we need to bust, is that we think, high risk must mean high reward, and this is like a basic economics thing, or low risk is low reward. I'm going to prove to you that's not the case at all. And in fact, what we're constantly looking to do is things like this. We want to risk $1 for a strong possibility of a $6 reward. That's the kind of equation we're looking at. So that is low risk for relatively high reward. And then my signature stock trading system that my tipping service runs on, our average loss is 3%. And the average gain is 18%. And that's exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. It also has a strike rate, which means the amount of time it's correct about stocks are going up is 81%. So with those numbers there, those are great odds, and that's why it's such a successful system. That's an important thing to remember, though, is that we're going to keep risk low, but reward can and is very much still high. Well, how is that possible? How are we able to limit risk so much? And it's precisely because of what I've been saying. These insiders that we're going to ride on, and the paper trail they leave behind leaves these signatures, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you how to translate what they're doing. A bit like a sheet of music. If you look at a sheet of music before you knew how to read music, it just looks like a load of strange code. But when you read music, you can see exactly what's going on, and you play a beautiful song from it. So we're going to look at certain things on a chart of any given stock. That's going to be how we're going to learn to read music and see and translate this paper trail they're leaving behind.